Beaverton, population about 2 million, main attraction Nike headquarters and Dockies. It's the kind of town where you'd expect to see tweakers and drug dealers and prostitutes. Beneath the surface of Beaverton's ghetto bubbled a different story. One involving gangs, gambling, and a most unexpected turn of events. Forget your preconceptions of hardened criminals and shady backrooms. Beaverton's underworld had undergone a makeover, swapping out illicit substances for the intoxicating thrill of Oregon's video lottery machines. It was a story so strange, so oddly heartwarming, it felt like something straight out of a Will Ferrell movie. Once upon a time, Beaverton's gangs were your typical purveyors of violent crime. They were a thorn in the side of law enforcement, a worry for parents, and a menace to society. Then something curious happened. Word on the street was that Big Head Jimmy, head of the notorious Beaverton Bag Hose, BBH for short, had discovered a new vice. He started playing video poker. It started innocently enough, a 20 here, a 20 there. Don't ask, don't tell. But soon, the BH boys were hooked. They put their ruthlessness toward the video lottery machines. They were nowhere to found until 2:30 a.m. when Oregon Lottery closes. Taking over the streets just wasn't their thing anymore. They'd found something more stimulating, more civilized. I met Jimmy at the local Dotties, where you would find most members of the BBH, a former respectful establishment, and now it houses more drug addicts than a rehab center. Jimmy, a man whose neck seemed to disappear into the folds of his shirt collar, was now the BBH's ringleader because he proved he could stay awake the longest.
It's like this doggy, we doing all this work hustling, and by the end of the night we need to get high on soul. So most of the time we come back short. Me who deserve all his money back. He get all or he nothing. That's how we saw it in Beaverton. Fuck yeah, got a bonus baby. Motherfuck yeah đâu ma.
BH members had also embraced their new roles, burning their suppliers and getting the local girls hooked on meth. His imposing physique strangely juxtaposed with his gentle demeanor as he put 100 in the machine. These weren't hardened criminals. They were comedians, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and surprisingly pillars of the community. Section 4, Safer Streets, Quieter Nights. The impact on Beaverton was immediate and undeniable. Crime rates plummeted. The police chief, a man who looked perpetually bewildered by the town's antics, found himself with more time to practice his putting on the station lawn. The streets were quiet, save for the occasional whoop of delight from the BBH. Parents had to be worried about their children stumbling upon drug deals, only about them developing a taste for video poker too young. There was a new energy in Beaverton, a sense of optimism that had been absent for far too long. Section 5, Flush with cash, schools hit the jackpot. The most unexpected beneficiaries of Beaverton's gambling boom, the local schools. The BBH, in a move that could only be described as surprisingly civic-minded, began donating a significant portion of the cartel's profits to the education system. Schools that were once struggling to afford textbooks and basic supplies were suddenly flush with cash. New computers, state-of-the-art science labs, and even a field trip to, of all places, Las Vegas, strictly educational of course, were now within reach. Beaverton's children, it seemed, were getting a very different kind of education, one funded by the spin of a roulette wheel and the turn of a card. Section 6, A Town Transformed. Odds in favor of Beaverton. Beaverton remained a town of contradictions, a place where the surreal rubbed shoulders with the mundane. You could still find folksy charm alongside the whirring of video lottery machines and the aroma of a freshly loaded pipe mingled with the scent of cigarette smoke from the BBH. But one thing was certain. Beaverton had changed. The violent gangs were gone, replaced by a peculiar brand of community leaders. The town was safer, the schools were thriving, and the ducks in the pond seemed just a little bit more cheerful. It was a gamble that had paid off in the most unexpected of ways, proving that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction. And as I left Beaverton, driving past the duck pond bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, I couldn't help but smile. This little town had won me over, one unlikely bet at a time.